6.
Okay, let's get started. Let's get this here. Let's see.
You gotta read it. You go out.
The regular council meeting is now called to order at 6:30, Tuesday, February 1st.
The meeting's called to order. Thank you, Justin.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Justin, do the roll
Councilor
call.
Martin,
Present.
Councilor Gowdy,
Present.
Councilor Villahoviac,
Present.
Councilor Smith, Councilor Stevenson.
You have a quorum.
Okay, we have a quorum remarks.
We have, let the record reflect, we have a quorum, okay? Also, Mayor here in the new, this new assistant, what introduce your new assistant, President? Honorable Mayor.
Stacy White,
Okay,
Stacy White, the administrative assistant in the mayor's office.
all right. Well, you can ask me that later. Welcome, Ms. White. Nice meeting you. Okay, thank you. Remarks of the public on agenda items, 2 minutes.
There's nobody. Does any public that is on Zoom have any remarks or questions? Going once? Guess not.
All right, let's go to the next one.
Reports and announcements from the mayor.
Thank you, Council President.
Okay.
Ask Stacy White to pass out some papers, and I'll get to them in a moment.
Thank you.
I'd like to start off by going in reverse dates. So last Thursday, Friday, we took the staff on a executive retreat down to Case Western Reserve. It was moderated by Greg Brown from Brown and Associates. Many of you know Greg Brown from the fantastic work he's done over the years with Policy Bridge and other not-for-profit companies. The retreat went very well, and many of the staff enjoyed themselves and got to learn a lot about one another. We talked about it before. This is the council meeting, so I'll mention it again. We met with the Metro Parks last week. The meeting went very well, and the Metro Parks has given their thumbs up to wanting to manage our historic Forest Hill Park. Our council president, Nathaniel Martin, was present at the meeting and committed council's support of the Metro Parks. And of course, the administration supports the Metro Parks. We have to do some legal work, and then of course, the fundraising will begin. We have spoken of our commitment as a city. And as many of you know, in grant situations, they want the grantee to have skin in the game, so to speak. So we have committed to looking at our ARPA funds to help fund the renovation of this. We do not have an exact number yet, but we have committed to using some of those funds in that regard. So our new executive assistant, Stacy White, just passed out. As you know, this is Black History, and I dedicate Black History and tidbits to the one and only now Council President Nathaniel Martin. I won't bore you with the story of why it's dedicated to him, but it is. So this is a follow-up to the Black History I did last month in regards to Martin Luther King Day, and that is the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. So the first couple pages just talks more about Greenwood Rising. And I mentioned Phil Armstrong is a college buddy of mine. We didn't actually go to college together, but we met college friends and we hung out while in college. He's a college buddy of mine from Columbus. He is actually the project director of Greenwood Rising. And visitors explore the history of Tulsa's historic Greenwood district to connect to the spirit of its Black citizens through an immersive journey that uses projections, mapping, holographic effects, and environmental media. The experience brings to life the memories of the past and the visions of success for the future, and catalyzes important dialogue around race, reconciliation, and restorative justice. I'd ask again that as you read through this and you think about the similarities of Tulsa and East Cleveland, stretch your imagination to see the similarities and what we represent. Hopefully it will ignite you to help push forward as a team and move the great city of East Cleveland forward. Some notable things on here: the Booker T. Washington High School, you see a picture of that. There's a wealthy Black family from Tulsa driving a car or a Model T, and then the Gap Band. Many of us have heard the story before about a Gap Band. It was from Tulsa. They made that song in regards to the bombing of Tulsa and Greenwood. And then on the back, the last page is actually education and entrepreneurship. One of the things I really like about it is it talks about 9 entrepreneurs who helped build Tulsa's Black Wall Street. Most notable is a Black landowner by the name of O.W. Groove. He's commonly referred to as the founder of Greenwood. He was born to free slaves in Alabama, raised in Arkansas, and moved to Oklahoma during the Oklahoma land rush of 1889. After running several stores in Perry, he's an entrepreneur. He moved, bought 40 acres of land in Tulsa. That street became known as Greenwood, and that started. And as you can see, they had various other Black entrepreneurs, pool halls, schools, entertainment, food. Black History is a great time of the year, and we all celebrate a year in a city that's 90+% African American. So please enjoy it. If you have any questions or concerns on these, Council President, that concludes my report. You can see it in one picture. Councilman here, it says dentist right there.
Right here,
It says dentist right there on like a street sign. Right here. Yeah,
you see it?
it says dentist right on the street sign. See it hanging out?
You see it.
Right here. The dentist.
Oh, I couldn't see,
Right, so we had dentists, lawyers, bank people, you name it. And believe it or not, the race riot started when a 17-year-old African-American kid got onto the elevator in which a young Caucasian, I think she was 16, was the elevator operator, and somehow one thing led to another, and he was locked up for being accused of molesting her or attempting to rape her or something like that. And then the mob went crazy, and that's what really ignited. Right? And the story's in here. You can all take a look at it. That concludes my report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing this. What I read about this is that I think he supposed to have made a pass at her or something like that. And, the situation got totally out of control. It's almost like it was planned. Okay, I saw a couple of videos on it, and there was a lot of jealousy because the African Americans were doing well. It was doing well, so they burned it down. So this is an unfortunate situation. Now I should say that in terms of our history, going all the way back to 1600 when we came here, in all the years of the voting has always been a challenge. That too, and then Black codes and that. And the paradox of the situation is that we're still dealing with some of the same things right now.
Yep.
So that's why it's important that we work together and to try to move forward. And also, I think it makes this city unique from the standpoint, this is one of the few cities in Ohio that's the government, the judicial branch of government, the legislative branch of government, and the administrative branch of government is run by African Americans. So we need to take that very seriously. I thank you for sharing this with us, and I ask everyone to read this. On TV, they've shown a lot of African American movies this month. Today is the first day of African American History Month. And Dr. Carter G. Wilson, and it's so much. And even though we have a lot of people here, there's a lot of people who've done a lot that never show up in these times. But let's stay positive and let's do what we can the time that we're here. So thank you very much for me. Okay. Let's proceed.
All right, there are no receipts of communications or petitions.
Under pro-
Next, we have proclamations.
But you let Counselor Martin mention those. Under
Which one?
under proclamations, you need to read those? You wanted to?
Yeah, what I'm gonna do is, I had an opportunity to go to Sylvester Adams' funeral service this past Saturday, and so was Juanita Gowdy. And also Juanita Gowdy attended Joy Jordan, former council person, former council president. Her mother died. So Juanita, why don't you say something about Mr. Adams' service?
Well, his service was very good. He was a window. He gave windows and his radio station, and he was very he even ran for mayor. So, we had some laughs and talks about how he is doing the windows, and he was doing the windows. One brother said he worked them all day, all night, and gave them $10. So it was, his home run was really well done. And so it was good.
Thank you very much. Mr. Adams, I knew Mr. Adams pretty well. He was a precinct person. Like you said, he ran for mayor. He was very involved in East Cleveland, a decent guy. And Joy George's mother, I knew her, I didn't know her well, but God be with the families.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's proceed.
Go ahead.
Oh, you know what? We're going to ask Brother Councilman Smith to give us a report on the State Fiscal Commission. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right.
I want to thank our great clerk, Madam Tracy, for making it possible.
Oh, thank you.
Making it possible for us to bring back. Thank you. I'd like some paperwork on the meeting. Well, as you know, the City of East Cleveland Financial Planning and Supervision Commission met on January 25th, 2022 at 2 p.m. right here in the council judge's chambers. Passed was resolution 2022-1, which is a resolution to extend the deadline for the submission of the financial recovery plan to February 28th, 2022 is the deadline. Also discussed was the fact, came out of that meeting was the fact that the city has a little over $6 million, I believe $6.1 million in the general fund. The city has a few deficit balances. Most are reimbursable grants with the exception of the police and fire pension, permanent improvement, and school resource funds. Those funds will be reallocated out of the general fund. Also came out of the meeting was the fact bear with me, please.
Take your time. Take your time.
Turning want to us on page 2, it was suggested that going forward to start a schedule with council. Thank you, Madam Law Director. To start a schedule with council to do a half-year amendment for appropriations. one in June and one in December, opposed to end of the year trying to reappropriate for the entire year. I wanted to make sure I said that real clear. Also, I want to report the fact that you can read this, is on page 3, and many of us will remember the city ended 2020 in violation of the recovery plan due to the deficit funds were violating the recovery plan. If you will remember, Mr. President, it was a lot of controversy and, you know, good citizens like O'May was referring to the charter, and some people were trying to tell others that in these times, we have to refer to what this committee tell us to do.
Okay.
So in the future, when it comes back up, I want to finish reading, but I believe it's very important to say in the future, when it comes back up, we must go by what this commission said. We understand what the charter says, but commission said we're in violation if we don't do it in this set time, the recovery plan. Without the amendment of appropriations before the end of the year, this will be the second year that the city will be in violation of the recovery plan. There are consequences in chapter 118 for not following the recovery plan. If the appropriations have not been passed by January, the commission will look at making the recommendations on some of those consequences. This is not an acceptable way to run the city. Like I said, Madam Clerk made it possible for you all to get a copy. So we have to stay cognizant of those facts, and that concludes my report, I believe.
Thank you for a comprehensive.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Another piece.
Just the next meeting is March 15th at 2 p.m.
Okay,
right here in Council Judge China.
thank you, Brother Smith. Keep us informed.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't know how long we're gonna be on this commission. I don't know. I think we're making progress. It look like it may be a year to, what's your feeling on this? Yeah, my granny too.
Yes, Dr. President. So the fiscal commission wants us to come out of fiscal emergency. We want to come out of fiscal emergency. I'm gonna throw this out now. If we came out of fiscal emergency, it would be my recommendation that we keep the fiscal supervisors on as additional eyes on the finances. We have to pay what we're paying for them now. You only get them for 2 or 3 years for free once you go in the fiscal emergency, and then you have to start paying for it. So we're paying for the services. And it would be my recommendation that when we come out, and they want us to come out, and we want to come out, that we keep the fiscal oversight. And those are the ladies, Tisha, Anita, and there's another lady who will help us go through the books.
All right, Brother Smith, good report. Thank you. Let's move on.
Yeah,
Right. Yes, go ahead.
Just looking at this progress report, there are a number of things that it says that the council needs to do. That I'm not sure from this forum whether the council has done them or not aware. For example, it says the purchasing manual has not been presented to city council to be adopted by ordinance and has not been updated for many years. The purchasing manual should be revised to ensure it is relevant to the city's current procedures and reviewed by all departments. And the revised purchasing manual should be presented to city council for adoption by ordinance. So I'd like to know whether that's happened. There's nothing. It says the purchase manual addresses unauthorized purchases, but it's not specific about the remediation process. When I was on school board, we had them announce certificates. I'm not aware that we do that. There are other things on this. city council should establish the maximum amount of blanket purchase orders. Let's see. According to city council, city charter, members of council should be paid in equal monthly installments, but that hadn't been followed. I don't, it looks to me like, well, that's implemented. Okay, we got that one.
We can't hear you, Kareem. Speak up a little louder.
The last item that you read is completed. The
Okay.
city's already paying us once a month. And I believe it was not this past meeting, but the meeting before that, when fiscal supervisors advised everyone that the administration is responsible for the items on the charter. Council has minimal responsibility for this, and basically approval.
So other things that it talks about that are in progress include the city does not complete a physical inventory to verify the existence of capital assets. That says it's in progress. I don't know what that means exactly. Physical counts of consumable inventory. There's some other things that it says are in progress, but if, I would like to know the status of the things that are in the progress, listed as in the progress report.
If you don't mind.
Go ahead, Kareem.
I think she reviewed that in the
Mhm.
meeting. Mr. Smith, correct me if I'm wrong. She said that there was only one change to this chart and everything else was still outstanding.
Outstanding ongoing.
So what you said, my question to the body, the council body, is there anything that we can do to expedite some of this, or what is you guys suggesting?
have to
Go over
wait.
that, Kareem,
We
huh?
gotta wait for the administration to give us the stuff so we can approve.
Well, my feeling is that the next week is tomorrow, right? I'm gonna set aside some special county seat. We'll go through A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, see where we're at, see what we've accomplished. Okay, so this is gonna be very important. And I think that's probably the best thing to do at this time. Thank you for this. Okay, let's move on.
It's reports from council committees. You're still on that. Reports
Oh,
from
yeah.
council
Okay.
committees, sir.
You start with-
Yeah.
Any report from your committee?
I meet, personnel and appointments committee week before Tuesday, 6:30.
Thank you. Councilwoman Juanita Valley,
Mine is coming up Thursday. Next week,
this Thursday or next?
Next week.
next Thursday, at 6:30.
Patricia Bohoyat,
Well, as you're aware, the last one didn't really happen because there was no quorum. And I don't have the date for the next one in my head. Do you recall?
Hmm.
No,
Like you.
that's fine. I can look that up and send it to everybody, but I hope that we'll have better attendance.
okay. Corinne Stevenson,
I don't have a report this time.
okay, thank you. This is our first month of the year, we finished that January, now we're in the second month. So we'll probably be meetings the next time we come together, we report, so someone meets in February. Okay, so let's move on.
Next is legislation in order to.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Go ahead.
Mr. Clerk,
Yeah.
I would, for very good reason, Mr. Chair,
Mhm.
I would like to make a motion to suspend Rule 9 order of business in order to add and discuss two very, very pieces of legislation that I came across that understand that everyone on council that has the right to table legislation. We also, and that's fine, we also have the right to bring it, others also have the right to bring it to the floor. So I came across resolution 08-22 and 06-22, which deals with soft trucks and a plow truck. We see, I try to make this quick, we see what we're going through. Again, everyone has the right to ask questions and give all the information, but we see we're holding up a very important equipment does, and again, this equipment takes a whole year to build. So we missing out because last year we didn't pass legislation to get very important pieces of legislation. And, I'm very excuse me right now, I'm trying to calm down. I'm very, it's about to serve the health interest, rights, and needs of the people. I don't know why these two pieces of legislation was left off. But again, everyone has the right to follow the rules and do so. But again, I also have the right, so I would like to again make a motion to suspend Rule 9, which is the order of business, to add resolution number 08-22 and resolution
06-22.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second to the motion? A second discussion. Dr. Roulette, go ahead.
The one that you call offhand is 08-22, and that one said either that we were going to lease to own or we were gonna purchase it outright. And therefore, I asked that it be sent back for clarification. The administration could have deleted 2 words on each one, and it would have been perfectly clear. But they chose not to do that. And that was their decision.
I understand that real respectful. You cannot keep holding up legislation.
Right, the
For that
administration held
reason.
up the legislation by not correcting that.
Come on up.
Oh, no, I just wanted
Stand up so we can hear you.
I just want to correct the record.
Come on.
The wording was corrected.
You sent back down.
January 10th, it was corrected again, when there was some misunderstanding, yesterday.
So you're
So-
saying the wording has been correct?
Yeah.
She sent it back down yesterday, correct?
And I
You did?
said it, and January 10th it was corrected, and I have email history and archives. Shut up.
But we got 5 pieces of legislation on here. And you put a suspension of the rule. So my suggestion is, why don't we just get through this and do 06-22 and 08-22 at the end of it, after we get through with 10-22. Okay? So
You need to take a vote. You have to vote.
Okay, it was seconded by Councilor Gowdy. We're gonna call a roll now. Counselor,
We have some discussion here.
We're discussing it now. Put it up for discussion. Go ahead, Kareem.
Can we have a copy of it?
Yeah, I'm gonna go get a copy right now.
Thank you.
You need a copy too?
she's gonna get it.
All right.
So did you wanna look at that before we take the
Right,
vote?
let's take a few minutes and look at this. If we need your help, we'll call on you. Okay? All right.
It was corrected immediately, and then again, when there was a question on January 8th.
I thought they were saying that the American Rescue Plan Fund.
Wait, hold on, did you ask the question for you, where the money coming from?
Where's the money coming from? That's not. on
Where can you respond to that?
both
Please.
in the preamble.
So the money is to be paid out of the general fund.
Okay, Mayor King, I'm getting confused. Because, and I want to be clear. We keep spending general fund money. We started out at $10 million, now we're down to 6. And we're talking about paying off the fiscal emergency. So I guess I'm gonna have to sit down and see how would, but this doesn't tell me where the money's
So I just told her, our finance director.
Yeah. I'm glad to see Charles coming up. You know,
I just want to correct this statement, it's easy. Statement accidentally just probably made by Councilor Stevenson that we had $10 million and now we down to 4. General fund never had, or down to 6. The general fund never had $10 million. It's been going up.
Well, that's what he said.
Who?
Look, that's what the mayor said. The mayor
I
said
never, when did,
in
I never,
2021, the
Anybody
mayor
hear me
said we
saying
had
$10
$10
million?
million to the good in general fund in 2021.
so I don't remember saying that. You have to.
Well,
show me
I
the
got
tape.
it written, it's on a document that you created that I can bring in.
Let's see it.
I don't have it here, I can bring it in.
I just went in, so it's been going up, but it's never been up, and now it's going backwards. We just general fund.
Well, that's what I'm asking for clarification, because we started at 10 and today he said 6 and I'm just all over the place here, but I'll wait, I don't need that discussion.
So I think what we need to do is when we get to 0822 and we get to 0622, we'll have a comprehensive discussion. So I'm not gonna hold up our meeting. We'll get to that. I do feel that the salt trucks and all that, as we know, we're getting ready to get a big storm in the next couple of days. And we had one about a week ago, that was a problem, not only for us, but Kyle County. So what I think was to move forward, when we get past resolution 1022, we're gonna go to resolution 0822 and 0622. And we'll discuss it and we'll decide what we want to do.
We haven't voted.
Yeah, we're in the middle of a vote.
Okay, let's take the vote.
Are you ready for the roll?
Yeah.
Counselor Blahoviak,
No.
Counselor Stevenson, you're voting to suspend the rule 9.
It's Rule 9,
Are you
right?
voting on Rule 9?
Yeah.
Right.
Suspend rule.
Suspend Rule 9, so we can add this to the agenda.
So we can talk about it.
Yeah,
Right, so we can
it's
talk
added
about
to
it.
be discussed.
If we want to talk about it, we should say yes instead of no.
Well, it may need to go to committee though.
It's a discussion, yeah. It's just a discussion.
That's all. Okay,
Sorry.
we'll
Councilors.
do it again.
Counselor Blahoviak,
No.
Counselor Stevenson,
Okay.
Counselor Smith,
Yay.
Counselor Gowdy,
Yay.
Counselor Martin.
Yay.
Rule 9 has been suspended with the majority of the votes. It'll be added to the agenda
Yeah.
at
Right.
the end of the meeting.
At the end of the meeting, okay? Let's move on.
Okay,
Okay.
we're gonna go to ordinance 5721. An
Yeah.
ordinance to authorize the mayor to have the city join with Cuyahoga County in providing the 50%, $200,000 from the general fund of the city county $400,000 match for the broadband portion of the EDA grant application submitted per ordinance 2720 for the purpose of developing high-speed broadband in East Cleveland based upon economic adjustment assistance funding from the U.S. Department of Commerce. This is
This
a
read.
second read. So, gonna go for a vote.
I'd like to add in co-sponsor.
Put Dr. Rory down as a co-sponsor.
Anybody else? All
Yeah.
right.
Okay, ordinance 5721, as your name on it, Corinne Stevenson, what is your pleasure?
I would like to sponsor and recommend this ordinance for adoption.
Been moved in second, call the roll.
Any-
Oh, wait a minute, any more discussion? No, call the roll.
Counselor Bahoviak,
Yeah.
Counselor Gowdy, Counselor Smith,
Yay.
Counselor Stevenson,
Yeah.
Counselor Martin.
Yay,
Motion, it passes unanimously.
thank you. Let's go to the
Next, we're
one.
going on to resolution number 7921. It is to be rescinded because of the price increase of $3,414.27. A resolution to authorize the mayor to enter into a lease to purchase agreement for the acquisition of a Caterpillar Model 27 2D3 skid steer loader in the amount of $67,981.24 for use by the service department utilizing general fund revenue. This one is being rescinded, so you have to vote to rescind this.
Okay, I'll accept the motion to rescind it.
But we need a motion first.
I
They
got
just made a motion.
You did a second? Okay, let's call.
Call the roll.
Any discussion? She just made the motion.
Okay, Gary makes the motion, and who seconded?
I'm sorry.
Counselor Bahoviak.
Patricia Rollback.
Okay,
Gotti made the motion, and Patricia Rollback seconded. Is there any more discussion on this? Okay, call the roll. Okay,
Why did strike rate increase?
yeah, the price increase, is that correct?
yeah, because I guess they said that it waited so long. So they want to talk about
Right.
it.
When they ask for these, administration.
So I don't know if he wants to answer to that or not.
Oh, go ahead, come on.
I'm sorry, the contract has a 30-day limit for it to retain the price. And we need to-
That's so it increased, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other?
I thought we voted on
Yeah.
it, before the 30 days is up, so that we can retain.
Mhm.
That's what we were told at the last meeting, so now we're being told something different. Okay.
Yeah,
So what
we
is-
were told that we were voting on it in time.
So where are we right now with this? So we got to absorb the increase, correct? In order for us to do anything with it. And what we've been hearing is that when we kind of delay, and I know we can't control certain things, these things are going up. Okay, so because the price went up, we rescinded because the price went up. Come on.
I think that what happened was, I guess I got the legislation too late, to you guys. To, you did, it wasn't your fault. You did it in a timely, expeditious manner, is what you said, but by the time, I guess, I got the legislation.
Let me jump in.
All right, hold on one second. Are you through? Okay, man, go ahead.
Kindly go back to your email. Clerk is sitting over. You will see in December, you will see an email I forwarded you from Caterpillar saying that the price is going up. When you passed it, we went to them, literally begging, hey, can we get this done at this price? 2 days later, they come back, Caterpillar Finance, no. Price went up. If you look back through your emails, Council Clerk, you will see that I sent it. Right? And if I'm not mistaken, I actually printed out and gave it to you guys. Not mistaken. But we were late.
So I think we need to act on this. Because it's what I've been observing over the last couple of months is sometimes we delay and the price go up, then we have to make the adjustment. So I think we need this, correct?
Yes.
All right, so. How much was how much did it go up there, Randy?
4,000.
4,000?
From 67,000 to 71,000.
So it's a $4,000 increase?
Approximately.
Says 34.
Y'all have an invoice?
It's in your paperwork out and you gotta look in that paperwork and stuff that you got.
You have it in front of you.
Yeah, they have the social security.
And this is them, this is with Sourcewell, Mayor King,
Yes.
which is the government purchasing situation.
Cooperative, yes.
Okay.
Any other questions on this?
I got another, I got.
Go
I
ahead,
don't know if it's a
Corinne.
concern or a question. Okay, we're buying all this equipment, and I think I said this before. We can't be driving this equipment through the city. Could somebody please go and find a trailer, since we're buying equipment, we need to buy the apparatus to transport the equipment throughout the city, so this equipment gets the best use for our money. Because this equipment is not cheap, and this is not, we have passed enough legislation and bought enough equipment at this time that I think that we need to make sure that we have the right transport for these things so that they don't tear up the street and become damaged in the process.
Brandon King, do we have, according to what she's asking about, how are we with this particular piece?
Yes, we do have trailers. Yes, there is a trailer that's been on order now for over a year.
A year and a half.
Year and a half, we are waiting on the trailer.
Everybody use one? This is right.
We have a trailer. By the time this equipment gets here, hopefully we will have our new trailer in our possession. If not, we will entertain getting it, no problem.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, this says it was spouse, co-sponsored by Ernest. Okay. Says it was received from the law department 11/15/21.
You just need to call the vote.
So we're gonna go to the vote. Counselor Blahoviak, Counselor Gowdy, Counselor Smith,
Yeah.
Counselor Stevenson,
Yeah.
Counselor Martin.
Yeah.
Okay, it's been passed to rescind. That was passage to rescind.
To rescind.
To
Yeah,
rescind, which
Now
means
we
that one's
motion to
dead.
pass the legislation,
You
correct?
gotta read the new one
Okay.
with the new,
Read the new one, read it, Justin.
okay.
it's a brand new
Resolution.
number.
Resolution number 11-22, a resolution to authorize the mayor to enter into a purchase agreement for the acquisition of a Caterpillar Model 27 2D3 skid steer loader in the amount of $71,396 for the use of the service department utilizing general revenue funds.
Okay, they have my name on it, but, I can move the gavel to,
Wait, this is-
okay, so someone else can,
There's a,
yes,
there's a question
yeah.
on this one. You and I discussed it earlier. Mayor, is there a chance that these prices might go up if they don't get it locked? Because it came down as a first read. If it goes first and second, and then you've got another 30 days.
So there actually is, the price could go up. As you remember, it was last Wednesday, I believe we met as an emergency to pass the
Fire truck.
fire apparatus, which is going up $45,000. We did sign that.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. We got it over to Pierce. Pierce
Friday.
okayed it on Friday,
Yeah.
and so that price is locked. So yes, if we don't get this done, the price could continue escalating. Yes.
So may I move to change this to an emergency, or do we have to rescind this?
No, you can move
No.
to change it to emergency, thank you.
I'd like to move that we make resolution 11-22.
You made, is there a second to a motion? Been second, okay, any other discussion?
It's been
Okay,
seconded by
call the roll.
Counselor Gowdy. Counselor Blahoviak, excuse me. Okay, I heard it three, so. Counselor Blahoviak, Counselor Gowdy,
Yeah.
Counselor Smith,
Yeah.
Counselor Stevenson,
Yeah.
Counselor Martin.
Yay,
The motion has been passed to make this an emergency.
And he just,
And now we're going to go to the roll call on the emergency resolution number 11-22.
Did we get a motion on that? Did we get a motion on that?
You have a motion to change it to an emergency. Now you need a motion to adopt. You have to have a motion to adopt. Who's making a motion to adopt? Second.
It's motion by Juanita Gotti, seconded by.
To adopt.
Okay, call the roll.
Nay.
Okay, Counselor Blahoviak, Counselor Gowdy,
Yeah.
Counselor Smith, Counselor Stevenson, Counselor Martin.
Yay.
The motion has passed as an emergency
Unanimous.
unanimously.
Okay, now we got one more here,
This is resolution number 81-21 to be rescinded. So you're gonna rescind this also because of a price increase.
I move that we rescind resolution number 81-21.
it is moved by Patricia Glover, is there a second? Second, okay, seconded by Corinne Stevenson. Any discussion? Okay, call the roll.
Is
Well,
this the same thing for oncy?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Okay, oh, sorry, rescinding.
Well, I wanted to-
Rescission, then we can do the emergency.
I needed to read it first before Dr. Blahoviak
Go ahead,
said that.
Justin, go ahead.
A resolution to authorize the mayor to enter into lease to purchase agreements for the acquisition of a Caterpillar model 906M compact wheel loader in the amount of $103,594 for the use by the service department utilizing general revenue funds.
Any questions? We vote on the rescission right now, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All
Okay.
right, call the roll.
Dr. Blahoviak, Counselor Gowdy,
Yay.
Counselor Smith, Counselor Stevenson,
Yes.
Counselor Martin.
Yay.
It has passed unanimously to rescind.
Okay, now we need a motion for the emergency.
No, you got to read the next one first.
You
Go to
get
the
it?
next, no,
Yeah.
go to
We're
resolution.
going to resolution number 10-22.
Yeah, I see. 1022, go
A
ahead.
resolution to authorize the mayor to enter into a purchase agreement for the acquisition of a Caterpillar model 906M compact wheel loader in the amount of $105,428 for the use by the service department utilizing general revenue funds.
Okay,
I
make-
move,
go ahead.
I move the resolution 1022 be changed from a first read to an emergency.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved in second. Okay, any questions? Call the roll, Justin.
Now you need a motion to adopt.
Yeah, make the motion to adopt. Please follow.
In a
Is there motion
second,
to adopt? You,
Ms. Gowdy did.
yeah, but I switched to someone else.
Motion to adopt.
Okay, you got a
You
second?
have to vote on the emergency. Yeah.
Yeah,
Council President, motion number, whatever it is.
They're
add
getting
your name.
yeah. and I
What is your,
switched it.
what is your pleasure?
First, wait, he's
Gotta
got to
vote on
call
the
to adopt
emergency.
for an emergency. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Emergency on the floor now?
Yes,
Okay. Are we voting on that now?
yes.
Okay.
Counselor Blahoviak,
Yay.
Counselor Gowdy,
Yes.
Counselor Smith, Counselor Stevenson,
Yes.
Counselor Martin.
Yay.
Passed as unanimously to make this an emergency.
Okay, now,
Okay,
Now we need another motion on emergency.
no,
no,
you need a motion to adopt.
Okay.
what is your pleasure?
Okay, it's moved by Juanita to adopt, I think, a resolution 1022. Is there a second?
I second.
A second. Any questions? Okay, call the roll.
Counselor Blahoviak,
Yay.
Counselor Gowdy,
Yes.
Counselor Smith, Counselor Stevenson,
Yes.
Counselor Martin.
Yay, it's passed. Now we-
Motion
we
passed
got-
Well,
unanimously.
one quick question on
Yeah.
these, since everybody voted unanimously and they were emergencies, it's for the, because you need them for the city. Does all the counselors want to be co-sponsors? So it's
Yeah,
council of the whole?
yeah. I'm
Okay.
all right with
I
that.
will change it to council of the whole for everybody.
Now, we got two other pieces that we added on the motion a little earlier in our meeting, and that's
Okay.
022, 0822, and
Go get them
0622.
from somebody.
Okay, let's start with, we'll start with 0622.
Here, you
Okay.
could read 0622. All right, resolution number 0622. It's a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Cleveland Freightliner, Inc., 10901 Brook Park Road, Parma, Ohio, for lease to purchase of two new snowplow salt trucks for the removal of snow within the city of East Cleveland at a capital cost of $243,850.00. or $121,925 per vehicle.
Okay. Resolution 0622 has your name, Dr. Patricia Blowback. What is your pleasure?
Considering that this has not been discussed in committee because the the wording was not correct and needed to be fixed, wasn't fixed until yesterday, and B, the last committee meeting we had,
It was fixed January.
the last
Okay.
committee meeting that we had was not attended by neither Council President Martin nor Councilor Smith. And therefore, I would like to put these in committee.
Okay, she wants to put in committee, what, or anybody want to speak to this before we make a decision? Anyone?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mayor, go ahead.
Thank you, Council
Right.
President. So any council member can move for the adoption of this legislation. Oh, okay.
And I have a floor, Mr.
Yes,
Chair.
you may have the floor, Mr. Smith.
Again, very respectfully, I respect my colleagues' outlook. And whether I agree with it or not, but I respectfully make a motion because it's my right, I understand she's the chair of that committee. But I very respectfully make a motion to move and adopt resolution number 606-22.
Is there a second?
I'm looking at this and I'm looking at it says, 243,850 or the 101,900. This is 622, this was in front of me right now. Okay, so
Snow plows.
the snowplow. So my question is this a first read, a second read, where are we with this?
This came down as the first and second read.
So what is it right now?
This would be a first read.
This would be a first read.
We have plenty of weeks to discuss it, Mr. Chair, but I can't see just holding it up because of a word that was fixed 2 weeks ago or whatever. But again, out of respect for my colleague,
Mhm.
I won't even try to ask for it to change to emergency. I respect for my colleague. We can still have a couple of weeks to discuss it, but to just let it lag in committee, I can't just see me just as sitting by and accepting that on behalf of the people of Ward 3.
If we do the first read, to give us a couple more weeks to get everything worked out. I think that would probably be the smart thing to do. So I'm willing to accept it as the first read if this body's willing to do the same. How do you feel?
There needs to be a second to his motion then.
Okay, you want to second this motion?
What is?
This motion was
Well, you
for
don't,
us to have the first read, is that correct? Right.
you don't need a motion for that. but
Right.
To
you don't
keep
need a
it,
motion,
it's
okay.
already, you already put it on the
So it's on
agenda.
record, it's a first read.
Right, that'll just move forward,
Right.
that's all.
It's my hope that when we come back together, if you, any questions or any unreadiness, that we answer that. If we're gonna act on it. Is that okay? Okay, let's go to 0822.
The next time it'll be a
I'll
second
agree.
read, right?
Right, it'll be the second read. For the record, it's a first read. Is that correct, law director? Okay, right, right, to make sure we
And
do
your
it right.
actions. Yeah.
Okay, so now let's move to the next one.
Next is resolution number 8-22, a resolution to authorize the mayor to enter into a contract with Kenworth of Richfield, 2890 Brecksville Road, Richfield, Ohio, 44286, to purchase a 2021 Kenworth T470 tandem snowplow truck at a cost of $233,502.00. This is requested by the mayor and sponsored by Patricia Blahoviak.
Patricia Wilhovic, resolution number 0822 has your name. What is your pleasure?
This should also be a first read.
Okay.
So both pieces
We
will appear.
recommend first, we need a second, right?
It's a first read. They'll both pieces, right, they'll both appear on agenda review next week, and then they will move forward. You discuss it more next week at agenda
Right,
review.
Tracy, make sure that any unreadiness that we be willing to cover that 2 weeks from now, okay? Is everybody okay with that? All right, okay.
So we're buying 3
We don't have that.
Mayor King, Counselor Stevenson has a question.
And can I, Mayor, can you make sure that
Can
we
you
have
back scout?
whatever
Continue
attachments,
fee.
so we can move on this? I know you wanna get this done. But whatever attachment, anything that needs to be attached, make sure we get it.
Yes, thank you, Council President.
Right,
And to clarify this,
okay,
these trucks
All right.
appeared on the master lease back in fall of 2020. They were on the master lease. The information, the deal is the same, the price has changed. It is 3 trucks, 3 salt trucks, which double as other utility vehicles for use in the service department. Again, this documentation has been coming at you, council, since the fall of 2020. This is the same documentation. I've worked on those specs 4 years ago. So you had it. We can send it to you again.
Well, please do.
Yeah, no
There's nothing
problem.
here.
No problem. We'll give it to you again.
Thank you.
well, hopefully, Mayor, we'll be patient. 2 weeks ain't gonna make that big a difference, so we can get it done.
Yes.
Okay, so make sure, I'm counting on you, your professionalism, and get them what they need, so that they will have, so we can get through this. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For your patience. Okay,
All right.
all right, remarks and requests for the public, 3 minutes. To anyone from the public, anyone have going once? Anyone from the public going twice? Anyone
Good evening.
from-
Wait a minute. They're on Zoom. Now
Okay.
we're getting to Zoom.
All right.
Okay, Mr., I see your name is Sir. Go ahead.
Yes. I have a question on the traffic light signal on Euclid and Strathmore. Why is it on control flash? Police are writing tickets for it.
His name and his address.
Yeah, I know. Did you hear his question?
No.
What's his name?
What's
Okay.
his name?
Give your name, sir, and your address, and then you can send it to me too in the messenger
I'll send it in Messenger. Thank you.
and the chat. All right.
Yes. I need to know why is this traffic signal on flash? And also the officers that's been writing tickets for it. This is for profit or is it for safety? I have
And
a
it's-
question.
Is the
I have-
traffic light where?
Strathmore and Euclid.
Why is the traffic light on Strathmore and Euclid flashing? And that there's always a officer there, same officer, it seems to be writing tickets continuously.
First,
Is it,
name and
Okay.
address.
We need his address, and when we remarks of the mayor and remarks of the council can respond to this.
Okay, could you send me that in the chat right now, your name and your address, sir?
yes, we'll do it.
That way I can read it to the council. And then they'll respond.
Hello?
I'm
One
still
moment,
there.
please. One 4802 Coit is his address, and your full name, sir. Pete David. Thank you, sir.
Pete David is his name?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, an answer?
He's the only one from the public to say anything. I can move now to remarks. of-
No, he asked a question. He's
Okay,
waiting
he
for,
wants to answer his question?
yes.
Okay, did you hear his
My
question?
Yeah,
Okay, can
hold
you
on one
hear-
moment. Yeah, he can hear.
Can you hear us?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Man.
So the light at Euclid and Strathmore is for safety. As many of you remember, that was a historic time in the city. Unfortunately, someone exited a bus, went on the bus and was struck. Our good friend, Governor DeWine,
Mhm.
came up, he bought the head of the Department of Transportation, Mr. Captain brother, good Captain brother. They put the light in, and yet it's homecoming. Many of the counselors here were there. So you all know that light is there for safety. I am not mistaken, there's something wrong with the ceiling transfer in the box going from yellow to red and then switching different directions, because you'll know that that is a one-way going that way, right? What I would caution and advise all motorists, and you'll remember from the Ohio Bureau of Motor Vehicles, as you take your annual test, if the light is flashing or if the light is not working, you are to treat it as a four-way stop.
Yep.
Does that satisfy you, Mr. Davis? Pete Davis?
At the point, no, because the way that they were pulling people over, it is not right. And especially if it's only 4 traffic signals in this city, I don't feel that they should be on flash anyway. I have another question, and since that's my feelings, nobody can tell me different. But I have one more question also.
Go ahead, Mr. Davis, go ahead.
My second question is on snow plows, snow removal, our residential streets. What are we paying taxes for? And this snow plow system that you set up should have been resolved in the summertime, because you knew we were getting winter. That it makes no sense to have a discussion about buying snow plows in the wintertime when the price is as high as it is. Now I'm done. Thank you.
All right, Mayor,
Okay,
would you like to
Mayor,
answer?
wanna respond to that? Go ahead.
Absolutely. So, Mr. Davis, again, my apologies for the light. I'll double check on it to get it back up and running. Please exercise caution when going through there. I mentioned earlier that legislation came to council in 2020 for the master lease.
Okay.
But if you will remember, it was 2019 that I did the specs and got the initial quote for these salt trucks. So they have been sitting in council's purview for over 2 years, and there's still counselors, they need a narrative, more information, keep giving them the same information. And, right, those same council people send me emails where they actually meeting, oh, residents say, when you coming up out the street, you pass the legislation, you have a salt truck to plow the streets. Please, it's about the residents of the city. I do my part, right? I bring it to you, I did the research, excellent trucks, brought it to you. Please, council, consider passing the legislation so that we can provide services to Mr. Davis and the other good residents and business owners here in the city.
Thank you. While you have the floor, Mayor Brandon King, let's have your remarks.
Oh, wait, there's somebody else
Is
on.
another one?
There
Okay,
was some,
go ahead.
okay, the next person that was on Zoom. No, that's what I told him, hold on. Next person on Zoom that had a question,
Yes, my name is Shirley Hatcher. Good evening.
and could you give your address, Ms. Hatcher?
13408 Shaw Avenue.
Okay, 13408 Shaw Avenue, Ms. Shirley Hatcher.
That's
Go
correct.
ahead, Ms. Hatcher.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. I just want to know, what are your plans, council and city administration, for these next 3 days? Have you any emergency plans down for us to be aware of? What are your plans?
Ms. Hatcher?
For-
Ms. Hatcher, that's a
Yes.
great question. That's a great question.
That's Counselor Martin speaking.
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, you go first, man. The
Yes.
council people might have something. So go ahead.
So as maybe you remember, we went out and bought a used salt truck. That has been fixed. We have another one that is running. We have F-150s that have blades on them, and one has a box on the back to spread salt. So if you could imagine how a rugby team works, right? One of the drivers is out plowing. Whatever vehicle he's in, he comes back, restroom break, lunch, don't even cut it off. Just put some more salt in the back, gas it, keep gas in it, and turn it over to another rugby player. So that's how we've been operating during the snowstorms. All I can do is ask you to be patient and apologize in advance. As many of you know, because it's been on the news, multiple municipalities struggled with the last storm. I mean, it's tough to deal with a 1.5 feet of snow. It's tough to deal with that, let alone with good equipment. When you're dealing with what we're dealing with, subpar equipment and then F-150s. So we will do the hills. We will do the main streets. We will do the heavily traveled artery streets, and then we will do side streets and residential streets. That is the order of operation. Other municipalities have been known to pitch in and help us. And the RTA with Dr. Cavers is a great corporate citizen, and they always help us. And just as a note, that last snowstorm, their truck went down. And they actually shut the buses down at some point in that last snowstorm. So that's our plan. Thank you for that question, Ms. Hatchett.
Thank you. Any council people want to respond to Ms. Hatcher's requirement? Any council people?
Councilor Bahovic.
Yes, Dr. Rovia.
I understand that one of our plows went down, but as I said at the last meeting, there are concerns that Roxbury hasn't been finished, Farmington hasn't been finished, Alderson hasn't been finished, Roslyn hasn't been finished. It's 2 weeks after the storm, and I have seen no progress in the last several weeks. I had at least thought that you might be able to finish the plowing from 2 weeks ago before the next storm comes. I'm getting complaints from many people in my neighborhood, and I'm sure everybody else is getting complaints too, that the plowing has not yet been completed. And when you talk about salt, we need plowing. So I'm getting complaints on two different things regarding the cars. One is that cars are not moved, which slows down the adequacy of the plowing. But the other is, no one that I know has been able to specify that we have a snow emergency parking resolution. And I would like that to be specified and sent to everyone, because we're all hearing about it. So we would like to know when people have to move their cars. So I'm getting complaints that cars haven't been moved in the last 2 weeks since the snow fell. But I'm also getting concerns that people's cars are being towed, and they had no idea that there was a snow ban. So we need to have this all clarified, and it should ideally have been clarified before the last storm, but secondarily, immediately after the last storm, but definitely before the next storm that's coming up. We need to know what the rule is, and I would be happy to share it with everybody on my email list and everybody on social media and everybody, every place I have contact with people and people in my neighborhood and, you know, whatever. But I need to know what the rule is. I currently do not.
Mayor, you want to respond to her, what the rule is?
Thank you, Council President. There was a lot there to decipher through it. At one point, it almost sounded like you wanted to reconsider the snowplow and pass it as an emergency. It sounded like you were saying you, along with a number of your residents, would like to see a more professional job done with plowing the streets. So if you want to reconsider that, you know, I got all night just for the residents. I have no problem staying longer to pass much needed legislation to get the equipment to provide the quality of life services that these residents deserve. Right? Our law director is here. and or I can get the police to get you either the county ordinance, city ordinance, or the state ordinance. But as I mentioned to you specifically before, there is snow ban rule.
But
There
you never
is.
gave it to me. You never gave me the details.
So
that
you
would tell me.
never asked me personally for it. But there is, and we can get it to you. If you have your clerk, ask the law director for it. You can get it.
Please, Mayor, please make sure she gets.
I think everybody needs it, because this is the
Yeah.
first I'm hearing of this.
Well, hold it. Okay, so we can move on. We'll be here all night. You just
May I-
get it to Tracy, and Tracy get it to all the council. Thank you. Now.
May
oh,
I-
Miss, you came in late.
Wait a minute, Miss Shirley?
You got 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Yeah.
There's one more person's coming up to give their,
Sit down for a second.
wait, Miss
Thank
Shirley,
you.
what else did you have to say?
Is that Shirley Hatcher?
Yes, Ms. Hatcher?
Yes, I have 2 suggestions for all residents.
Good.
Since we had that snowstorm, our fire hydrants were covered with snow. And I'm suggesting to all residents to take responsibility for your street and put markers around the fire hydrants or clean the snow out around that so that the fire department will know where they are. Secondly, when you can, please remove all the debris, dirt, ice over the sewer drains. Because when those get blocked up, those when we have floods in our basement and stuff. So I'm saying to all residents, take responsibility, because as we know, the city administration can't do everything. So we have to take some responsibility on ourselves. So that's all I'm saying. If you got markers for your fire hydrants, so in case the snow is high, they can find it, and keep your sewer drains clean. Thank you. And God bless
Thank you, Ms.
everyone. And
Thank you very much, Ms. Hatcher. Okay, old Miss, you got 3 minutes. Come on.
Set the timer on, please.
Come on. Yes, I said you have 3 minutes. Okay. Thank
Number
you.
one,
All right.
I'm not cleaning no sewer drain. It's taxes to do that. And the plow that goes through there must clean. And they're not just shoving all the snow they pile up there. Now, I'm here in reference to, there was an ordinance on the book for a raise of council and administration. And it's my understanding there's 3 people on council that are raised and 2 did not get raised. I want to know what law are they using, because the council is the legislative branch. They make the laws. And administration, the elders carry them out, and the judge enforces it. Or file the penalty. Secondly, now, if 3 got the raise, the other 2 should have gotten the raise as well. Or no one should get it. Now, they come up with there was an attorney, or not attorney, but the judge, that's the, I've heard to use it. I'm very cognizant of that. Judge doesn't make no law. The judge interprets and enforce the law. The council make the laws. And if you put out there, and the people voted for a raise for the council, everyone should have gotten a raise. Don't use somebody else's law. And use the law that you swore to uphold, and that's the East Cleveland law and the charter of the city of East Cleveland. Nowhere in the charter that says you have to discriminate because these wasn't up for election or whatever the case may be. You can't use the state law because we are not silenced there. So it's my understanding some people have used a law that the judge and another judge was running for that seat or whatever. And he would sit in there as the judge at that time. And he wanted to give himself a raise. He doesn't have that authority. Council, state reps, state senators, Congress, senators make the laws, and they pass the laws for themselves to so get a raise. And I would leave on this, and I think that these people that citizens that did not get a raise should get that raise along with us. And the last thing, when the people are plowing the snow, they block in where people have shoveled the snow, and they block the way. There are empty lots that can push that snow. And during my tenure on this council and in this city, we had snow like this before. We picked it up and took it to the park, and dumped it in the park. You don't close people in when they don't shovel the snow. You don't expect the citizens to do that. They pay the taxes for the administration and what have you, the council to do, make it safe for us to travel. When you block in a street, and I see there was a street, they pushed the snow up, nobody could get through the snow, it was piled up like this. And now if you think I'm lying, go over on Rockford, right there, Starlight Church, you will see the spilled snow where people, they try to get through there and what have you. That is the foolish, ignorant thing I have ever seen in my life. I never encountered anything like that. As long as I've been in this city, and I think I've been in this city longer than anyone sitting in here.
Thank you, Lee. Come up for a second. Would you briefly say what the high rise code, and if we had a legal thing, just think about this.
I'll send it to him.
But
I have his
just
email.
for the record, just real brief, you make it brief, okay, because this situation is gonna stop for some reason.
If you want to follow O'May, then you
No.
violate.
Respond to, he said that these people should be paid. What did the Ohio Revised Code say? What does the law say?
That there is no interim or midterm increase. And then we refer to the Ohio Ethics Commission. So we did that so that we would not make the subject counselors who did not get the raise exposed to any liability. Okay, as well as the finance director. Because although we are a home rule city, we
Right.
still are a political subdivision, and no man is an island and no city is an island. Okay, we have to abide by federal, state, and county, as well as ethical laws that subscribe and limit the powers. We have police powers, okay? And that's what home rule authority does. We have the police powers to regulate for the health, safety, and welfare of the people. But in terms of raises, that is not connected to the health, safety, and welfare of the people. That's what is called a general law. And a general law, when a local law is in conflict with the general law, the state general law prevails. And I just would prefer not to have the subject counselors be in predicaments like there's another jurisdiction that is majority Black in the city where the mayor is currently being reviewed by the county prosecutor, Michael O'Malley, for violating ethical laws. And I've talked till I was, if I could turn blue in the face. And so you can either take a chance, take a risk, and have these ladies or have the counselors who are in the middle of their terms be subject to unnecessary liability, or you can obey the state law, the ethical law, and even the criminal laws of the state.
Okay,
There is no liability for the county.
Well,
There's a law for that too.
we've been dealing with this now for 2 months. So, Brandon, go ahead, make your remark. Yeah.
Our law director for that
Okay,
clarity around that. Gave the story many times about you need your eyes examined. Go to your local butcher. Just give you cuts of meat, go to a professional eye. I thank all of the residents for coming out tonight, those on Zoom. I would humbly ask that as this new snowstorm approaches, that you bear with us. Please, if at all possible, do your shopping today, early tomorrow, to avoid the winter storm that is coming late Wednesday and Thursday. If there are circumstances that are far out of bounds, such as an entire street being impassable, please notify my office and we will take care of that. But simple plowing the snow, and sometimes they do block you in your driveway and you have to shovel your way out, that's a little different. But if it's something that's totally out of bounds, please do call me and we will take care of that. And patience for this. Unless there's any questions or concerns, enjoy Black History, and that concludes my remarks.
Brendan Smith, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay,
Thank you to my colleagues for your reconsideration on those two pieces of legislation. A little slower than I would like, but they on the table, so that's, I didn't want to push any further. Well, thank you, all members of the administration, Mayor's new assistant, thank you. Madam Law Director, Mr. Finance Director. Thank our great clerk. Most importantly, I want to thank my neighbors, our neighbors, the residents of East Cleveland, in person and on Zoom, for checking on your health interests, rights, and needs. I want to give a very special thank you to our service department. Very, very tough job for the limited finances that they get on their paycheck. Again, as our mayor stated, I don't like to ask residents to be patient, but I have to ask you to be patient. I live, again, most of you know, right on Strathmore, so I'm in the middle of the belly of the beach. So I've seen the driveways snowed in. I've got out there and helped our elders, as I'm sure and I hope many of us have. Ms. Hatcher, I love you. I love when citizens talk to their fellow citizens. That sometimes if one of us say it, we get yelled at. But again, as she said, don't always depend on the power structure and the elected officials. There's things that us and you as a citizen can do on your own in these times. I hate to ask you to, but in these trying times, we just have to do things that we don't want to do. So again, thank you all for caring about your health, interests, rights, and needs in these dark times. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That concludes
thank you.
my
Councilwoman Corrine Stevenson.
My situation here has to deal with my points of interest for the council as a whole and responsibility of the council office. I believe the mayor is supposed to submit a plan to the council. January is gone and we don't have an annual plan. And I would like to see that we had an annual plan with long-term, short-term goals. Also, the civic center deal has been going on for a while now. I think 2 years, maybe longer than that, but I've been here. At any rate, I'd like to tour the civic center if that's possible. The reports that we receive, we don't receive the reports that we need to receive. So what I'm asking for are reports that reflect land bank transactions, inventory of city assets, we need to appoint a charter review commission. And the hiring of new employees, the transmission of swearing in documents to the council for all new hires has not occurred in the last year and a half. You spoke about the fiscal emergency, and coming out of fiscal emergency, I'd like to see a plan or no deadlines, balances, and timeframes for that. And that would also include, how are we gonna clear through audit findings and timeframes for completion of that? A couple of times I've asked for contracts in 2021. Council is not giving any contracts, but the council is supposed to have contracts in their files that we don't have. Several $1 million have been spent on contracts, and we don't have any contracts to reflect that has occurred. So I would like to have those contracts so that the council records are accurate and that the 2022 contracts are sent to council in a timely manner.
Patricia Bloviak.
I would like to thank Councilor Stevenson for that wonderful list. As you're aware, I went through and identified a number of committees, commissions, and boards that need to be formed and functioning in the city, and I've gotten no feedback on that. As a new person on council, there are some things that would help me to function, and I've requested many times just to sit down and have somebody explain the abbreviations on the financial statement from December. And I had one planned, and the mayor said I need to schedule it through him. And it's been a couple weeks, and it seems to me that this is something simple and straightforward. I'm asking for the abbreviation and what they mean. I don't see why this is taking so long. I also have a new laptop that belongs to the city to use. And I was surprised in the past that nobody seems to be using their East Cleveland email addresses. And I have found that at this point in time, I can get this laptop to give me my city email address items when I'm in City Hall. When I'm at home, it doesn't work. When I've tried it at 2 different libraries, I can't get it to work. There are technology specialists at the Cleveland Heights Library who are supposed to be able to be really good at that, and they can't figure out why it doesn't work. I sent an email message and I knocked on the door of and I sent a copy of this to the mayor's office that I would like to speak to, what's his name,
Claude Mitchell.
Claude Mitchell, about how I can get this to be more functional. And at this point in time, I have no response on that. The other thing is that at our last meeting, I asked for a report on the ARPA and CARES funds. And the mayor stated that everything that we needed would be going to Tracy. And Tracy sent us what she got, and it was not a report on how the ARPA and CARES funds were used. There were a few small details, but it was not a report on how the ARPA and CARES funds had been used. And so I'm still awaiting what I consider to be basic information. And I would like to add that I also would like everything that Councilor Stevenson asked for also. And that's sufficient. Thank you.
Thank you. Juanita Gowdy.
I want to thank everybody for coming out today. I have concerns about the snow trucks also, because you said we had 2 snow trucks. And if one is broken, the other one should be fixed until we is able to get more, more snow trucks. And, I had got some complaints about the streets also, how it's no snow, no salt on the ground when they come through different side streets. But my only concern is really is, because I know it's a difficult time when you have two, but we have to prepare ourselves. Even you said that it was setting in the committee. Well, we have problems of getting full detail. And then when we get the full details, it don't be the details that we sometimes have to send back, like we just sent some items back and they didn't have to return. And I'm concerned about the tow trucks. It actually is going to be here. Is it going to be here in a timely manner? You know, once we do look forward and passing it, once we get the full details. I know we have some things in the back, but I don't see everything. So I'm just saying, summertime is coming and, you know, we might just get it probably in the summer. Hopefully we not gonna get it in the summer, but it seems like everything is pushed back because of COVID. So I'm hoping that we don't wait on this too long, but we do need to move forward of passing it. But I just want to pass it in a timely manner. So when these storms do come, these snowstorms do come, we'll have backup. Now, I have seen somebody taking a tow tractor truck and digging outside, you know. It was an orange one. It was like a tractor truck getting snow on different streets. I don't know if y'all have seen it, but I have seen it. And that helped tear up the streets because it's like a tow truck, but it has like the teeth.
Front loader.
Yeah, you know, the front loader.
Yeah.
Yeah, tearing up the street. And why is we using it? Because it wasn't really doing nothing but damaging the streets even more, because once the person done moved and when you ride down that street where he was digging the snow up, you can see more holes. Bigger holes than it was before on the street. So we do have a problem as a need that we're trying to get these snow trucks. They definitely holding it up, but we need proper paperwork and they have to be in a timely manner. And the East Cleveland had a big accident Sunday with the paramedics on Superior Euclid, ran into 2 cars, and it might have been more because the way it was, all the cars were just scattered. And the front end of it is tore up, so I wanted to know more about that, you know, so can you explain that? Because it is, that's all the truck thing I believe that we have. Unless we have a flatbed. So yeah, I mean, it was a bad accident, and we just want to know if anybody got hurt, anybody got killed, we need to know more detail. That's
So
all.
you,
Yeah, I want to
would
make
you
it-
like to really respond to this?
Yes, yeah.
I'll deviate from the norm, and you want to respond to it, Mayor? Please. Yeah.
Yes, there was an unfortunate accident involving EMS. Unfortunately, someone ran the red light. It's my understanding that they had insurance, and we will be going after their insurance to pay for our EMS truck. I'm not aware of the status of the person or persons in that car. They were taken to the hospital, weren't in life-threatening condition, but they had been shaken up quite a bit. Our law director is here. Did I miss anything?
He had 18 prior traffic violations, and since 2001, he's had 9 traffic accidents.
What state is the truck in?
The truck is not running. If when you leave here, it's on the back row. It is mangled. For those of us who know, at the corner, you had to be going pretty fast to damage the front of this EMS truck. The way. But I pray for the young lady who get in the truck.
55 years old.
55?
Yeah,
Okay.
and she had multiple traffic violations.
But she did have insurance, right? Well, what kind of insurance you got? Okay, I'm going to say that. Thank you for the history stuff. I'm a history buff.
That came to you.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna thank Ms. Hatcher for her suggestions. When we had the big snow a week ago, I couldn't do it by myself. It was too heavy. You know, I couldn't get out of my driveway. So what I did was I called my son. He came over. It took us an hour and a half to get the snow out. So I don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of days, but I ask everybody to be aware of that and being prepared to do what you need to do. Okay. 06 and 0822. I hope we get this resolved next time we come together. Okay, all of you have legitimate questions, legitimate issues, but this, we only have so many resources. We only can do so much. Okay, so I hope that we can get through this. I hope it's not too difficult. And we have our pictures have been up here and they fall down and they break. So I had to do the profession to get quotes on, excuse me, here. Here. You see the lowest quote on there. Okay, thank you. So we're gonna have our pictures put up, period. So forgive me for not having my mask. I have a tendency to take it down so people can hear me. I hope that we get through this situation in the next couple of days. I hope that we can get through it without a lot of damage and whatever the case may be. However, we know it's coming. The preparation is always good. And the democratic process is not perfect. We do the best we can. So we'll be back together in 2 weeks.
Don't forget, we wanted me to remind you to mention, tomorrow is an executive committee meeting to discuss that one piece of legislation.
Right, the
but-
conduct of police
Right,
and that.
and you wanted me
And I
to,
did, I want everyone there.
but you
Yeah,
wanted to
because-
let them know if the storm hits earlier, the
If
ice
the
storm,
hits
it'll be
early,
Zoom
it's gonna
only.
be on Zoom.
Right.
But if it's not a big storm, we'll be here. And I feel that police should be respected. And I feel that the other side of it, the citizens be respected too. We have to respect each other. Okay, period. I think that's just basic. I'm gonna thank all of you for participating. It's not a perfect world, so we do the best we can. Thank you all. I will entertain an adjournment.
And you need a snow ban, that's what we put out during 19 council.
The mayor said we do have.
I accept adjournment. He has not been recognized. Okay, I will accept adjournment.
Who,
Adjourn meeting.
a motion?
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, the meeting is adjourned. Okay.
Don't stop.